Hello there, welcome to Target Radio's podcast with me, Cookie. Every single week we find different people to speak to, mainly musicians, artists in the unsigned realm of music. And what we do, we have a chat with them, find out a little bit more about them, and obviously explore their music. Now, if you are listening to this on iTunes, please, if you get a chance, give us a 5-star rating if you can. And please make sure you put some comments in there as well. If we're doing something right, that's great. But if we're not doing something as good and you think we could do something better, then please do leave us a message. Let us know. And if you want anything else in the podcast, again, let us know in the comments box. That will be brilliant. Okay, stay tuned then. Today we've got a brilliant artist. Have a listen to this.
Every Monday night.
We'd like to say that in our opinion it is not suitable for children.
Every Monday night.
Or for those of you who may have a nervous disposition.
Every Monday night.
And every Monday night.
Good people, it is my pleasure to present to you the one and only...
Oh, Sean Cook.
Andy. You're tuned in to Target Radio with me, Cookie, alongside
Andy.
Hey, Andy, you got a voice now?
Andy.
There we go, our a brand new Christmas jingle, Andy. How's that?
Ho, ho, ho.
You sounded not very convinced there. Oh, fantastic. It's nearly Christmas, mate.
It is.
Oh, I'm looking forward to it now. We went to see the big man in the red suit. Yeah, he was delivering the mail. Works for Royal Mail, actually. He's a really nice guy. No, I was talking about Father Christmas. We went to Wookie Hole yesterday. For those that don't know where that is, it's in a big hole. No, it's not far from Western Superman, out that sort of way in Somerset. Fantastic, mate. Absolutely awesome, I think the word I'm looking for. And, we went caving. Okay, and didn't hit me head once. I'm only little anyway, so I didn't have to duck that much. But I'll tell you now, if you're sort of over 6 foot high, it's not really for you, okay? I'm going to be completely honest with you. You will hit your head. But, the kids loved it, and I know that they're at an age now where they think, does he exist? Well, he was there. And proof is in the pudding, really, isn't it? If you see something, it's got to be real, hasn't it?
Absolutely.
Yeah. And Rachel was called a great big lemon by Father Christmas because she's wearing a yellow jacket. Anyway, and he called me the bodyguard, so yeah, that's about right, I think. So you didn't do any sort of Christmassy stuff over the weekend. You were working, weren't you?
I was working the weekend, yep.
But you done something Christmassy today, is that right?
That's right, we did.
What did you do?
Nicky and I went Christmas shopping.
Wow, you actually went out of the door and done Christmas shopping. Didn't do anything online?
No.
No?
Not today.
No. Have you ordered me scooter yet?
I can't say a word.
Okay. Anyway, on tonight's show, Andy, talking about scooters, there's not a single scooter to be found, but we are going to be talking to two delightful, fingers crossed, hold your breath, delightful young ladies about a book called Stinger.
Who?
Stinger.
Stinger?
Yeah, Stinger. I was hoping a mouthful of tea. So we're going to be chatting to Tina Freeman and Nicky Weller. Yeah, all right, that's enough of the bells now, for goodness sake. Okay. We're talking to those two delightful ladies a little bit later in the show. Around about 7:30, we're going to put a call into them, and we're going to try something totally different this evening. We're going to try using a messenger-type situation app, and hopefully we'll have a conference call.
Excellent.
Yes, in theory, it's all perfect. In practice, we'll wait and see.
Fingers crossed.
Okay, anywhere, anyhow, anyway. Help me out.
Yeah, go on. Anyway, anyhow.
And?
anywhere.
Yes. Wow. Now, I think on the telephone right now, at the moment anyway, we have got Tina Freeman. Hello!
Hello there! Finally, we managed it.
It works. Hang on a minute. You need one of these. I'll tell you what, I think we all need one of these. Oh my goodness me!
I'm not sure if we've got Nicky just yet, though.
No, I'm not seeing Nicky on there at the moment, but we are. Well, fingers crossed, and let's hope that she can make it during the course of our little conversation that we're going to be having, mainly about your book, Tina, but of course about other things in general. Okay, and with me as well, as always, is my right hand man. Okay, this is Andy Topp-Walker. Hello, Topp-Walker person, you.
Good evening, Tina.
Hello, Andy. How are you?
I'm good, thank you. Yourself?
Yeah, good, thanks. Good.
Excellent.
There we are. Now, I first met you, Tina, down in Brighton, of all places. You were dismantling your stall because I'm not quite sure, but you had a couple of good days of trading there, didn't you?
Yeah, we had, and it was mental, wasn't it, that Sunday? So I had to get ready to go to I was on the pier with the Gary Shale Quadrophenia event.
Indeed,
so,
indeed.
I was trying to do too much as usual, so...
well, you were juggling so many things, it was unbelievable.
No, it was great, though. What an amazing weekend that was. And the weather was so on our side, wasn't it?
Yeah, I was about to say about the weather as well, because it was absolutely glorious. And I'll tell you what, I got a tan, or at least on one of my arms. It was fantastic. Now, obviously, before we get into the book and everything, because obviously we'll hold on to see if Nicky can join us in this group call. Before, obviously, that happens, tell us a little bit about why you were in Brighton on that day with all of your goodies on all of those tables, and you had that poor chap with you. Order him around, Tina. Honestly, he looked hot and bothered.
Yes, my poor husband. He's normally hiding, he keeps out of everything because, he's a lot shyer than me, and normally he just wants to be left alone. But we normally do the Isle of Wight scooter rally every year. But because of it being the Quadrophenia 40th anniversary, we decided to literally not jump ship this year. No. And we stayed in England and went to Brighton, and oh my goodness, I'm so glad we did, because it was amazing.
Have we converted you now for Brighton every year?
Yeah, every year. I must admit, that's it. I mean, it's never going to be the 40th anniversary again, so we're not going to have all those amazing events.
No. Do you know what it's going to be next year? It's going to be 41 years, so come on.
It will be 41 years. And I'll be working towards the 50th anniversary, when hopefully all the babbies that have been reading Stinger, they'll all be old enough to be, to take it up in
I see what you've done there. You swung it straight, you naughty lady, you. Okay, so now Andy and I are really novices when it comes to sort of book reading, because simply we don't have enough time, and obviously both of our jobs really enable us to sort of like have hands on and eyes on our jobs. So obviously we don't get a lot of time to sort of read, do we, Andy?
No, we don't.
No, indeed. But we've done a little bit of homework, and we obviously know a little bit about Stinger. But the best way of doing these sorts of interviews is to let you, as the author and obviously the person behind the idea, to tell us a little bit about the book. But before we do that, now I believe that you put names of people and then convert them into dog names. Is that right?
That's right, yes. It started with my Quadrophenia collection of dogs on scooters that I've done for years and years now on scooter rallies.
They are brilliant as well.
Thank you.
They are. They're really, really good.
Well, I've just had so much fun with them, and I had my my Who collection anyway, which was Pete Houndshend, Roger Dogtreat, John Dog Whistle, and Keith Howl at the Moon. So I had them, and I had a jam set. My jam set is Paul Weller, Bruce Foxtail, and Rick Boxer, and Rick Boxer Dog. Yeah.
And have you actually seen all three members of the Jam, obviously separately now? And have you told them?
Yeah, well, the first time I actually met Paul, I was at the Jam exhibition with Nicky at the Liverpool Cunard building, and I'd been in for weeks and weeks. It was like a 14-week exhibition, which was absolutely amazing.
Yes.
And the day Paul came in, and he actually had a lock-in in the cafe with us to come and have a cup of tea, because he'd been, as you can imagine, completely bombarded. It was supposed to be top secret, and the minute word got out, like everybody just descended on the Cunard. It was crazy.
Poor man.
Yeah, so he came into the cafe for a lockdown and a cuppa.
Yeah.
And he walked in the room, and Nicky said, "All right, Tina." And then Anne was like, "All right, Tina." And then he walked in, and they went, "This is," and he goes, "Yeah, Tina." So I thought, oh my God. And then Nicky went, look, Paul, she's drawn you as a dog. It's Paul Weller." And he weren't rightly impressed.
Oh, really?
No. I was so embarrassed, and I was like, "I'm so sorry, Paul. I do draw proper pictures as well."
Yes.
And but he was absolutely lovely, and luckily he likes Stinger a lot more than his Paul Weller character. So
that's all right then.
Yeah, he's forgiven me, I think.
Hang on now. I do believe that we've got someone trying to get in on the act here, and
it must be Nicky.
It is Nicky, and I'm hoping that we've got now Nicky on here as well. Hey, Nicky, you there? Dead air.
Oh no! I know how this feels. This was me last week.
It was you last week. What's that all about? Hang on, let's see if I can add. Oh, she's just disconnected. Oh, let me see if I can reconnect her. There we go. I'm just pressing random buttons here. I'm just going to ring her while we're waiting to see if we can get her on there. Hang on. Here we go. She's probably having a cup of tea.
I am,
my
actually.
Goodness me. Right,
you are.
There she is. Ladies and gentlemen, and boys and girls, please put your hands together. I'll help out a little bit here for Nicky Weller.
Hello.
What was you
It's
doing?
all that technology. I don't know what I'm doing.
No, we're terrible, aren't we, Nicky?
Well, I'm not being funny.
Yeah.
I'm the one pressing buttons in. I ain't got a blooming clue either. What was you having? A cup of tea, Nicky?
Sorry about that. I'm sitting here having a coffee and...
Well, how rude. How rude. You didn't even offer us one. For goodness sake. Ladies and gentlemen, on the conference call now, Andy, we have now got Nicky Weller as well. After a cup of coffee. She didn't offer us one, did she?
Well, okay, I've got a can of Coke here.
Well, so have I, actually. So, there we go. No. Right, so, on the phone... Oh, hang on a minute. What's that all about? Right, so, on the conference call now, we're not only have we got the lovely Tina Freeman, we've also got Nicky Weller, and we've got Andy Topp-Walker and myself. Wow. Modern technology at its best. And at the moment, we're all there, so that is fantastic. So, good evening, Nicky. How are you?
I'm not too bad, thank you.
Good. Lovely to hear your voice. And whereabouts in the world are you at the moment? Obviously, we don't need postcodes and things like that, but whereabouts are you in the world?
I'm in West London.
Oh, right, OK. Not too far away from us here in Frimley. Not far from Woking, actually.
Yeah, exactly, yeah.
Just
Little Surrey place down there, yeah. I'm in Frimley.
Hey, there we are, just up the road then. Brilliant. And how's your day been today?
Well, I'm kind of just convalescing from an operation, so not too busy, to be honest with you.
No, put your feet
I'm
up.
not allowed to do much, so I've just got my feet up with a coffee.
Well, why not? You deserve it. You work very, very hard. And the reason why we've obviously got you on here as well, because obviously you've not written a book, have you? Or have you?
Well, I've written I've not written, but I've been involved in a couple of books.
Yeah.
Growing Up with the Jam and Growing Up with Punk.
Of course.
And then helping Tina out, a bit of PR and stuff on Stinger.
Excellent, lovely. And let's get back to the book then. So both of you lovely ladies, you can answer these questions. They're just called quick fire questions. So obviously there's going to be a couple from Andy, a couple from myself. So I'm going to hand you over to Andy first, okay? And I think you want to know where the name come from, don't you, Andy?
Yeah, thank you, Sean.
That's okay. Go on, answer the question anyway. Off you go.
God, Tina, as Sean's already asked a question, but I'm going to word it as well. Where did the name Stinger come from? Where did the title come from?
Right, well, obviously it's based on the Sting character in Quadrophenia. And I wanted to meet Sting to ask for his permission to use his name. But by the time I did meet him, which was in January of this year, at an amazing teenage
was it that long
cancer
ago?
trustee. But yeah, it was January. Can you believe it? In fact, we did. Sting actually nearly killed Nicky. Do you want to just explain that quickly, Nicky, and then?
Yeah, I was coming out of the event and going home, and he was about to run me over in his big Range Rover.
Oh, he wasn't on the scooter then.
No, he wasn't on the scooter.
Oh no, Phil nicked it, didn't he? You know, drove it over the cliff.
Yeah.
Goodness me.
I think he was being chauffeur driven, actually.
Well, that's
So anyway, I got
that's
to
how it
meet
works.
him, but by the time I met him, we actually really, really liked the name Stinger by then, and we quite got attached to it. So I thought, do you know what? If you Google Sting, all you get is Sting. Whereas if you Google Stinger, you get our book.
Yes,
so,
you do.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, that is brilliant.
And he's a bee. He's not a wasp. So
yeah, he is a bee. He started off as a wasp because Vespa means wasp.
Yes,
so that was
does.
initially
Yeah.
my thinking behind it. But nobody likes wasps and everybody loves bees. And because I'm from up to north near Manchester, I thought, right,
north, yeah.
no, he's got to be a Manchester bee, hasn't he?
Well,
So,
absolutely. Well, they make honey, don't they? And wasps make a nuisance.
exactly.
just annoying,
I usually
yeah.
wind up my children and say they make marmalade.
But they don't make very good friends.
No, they don't. Especially when you're trying to have a picnic and you sit on one. You know, a bit of a pain there,
Yeah,
really.
exactly.
Indeed. Now, obviously, the question for both of you then, really, this is Cookie here again. Now, obviously, we just touched on the dog names and everything, and obviously, I was thinking about these dog names for us two. Now, I come up with a great one for Andy, because obviously it's Andy Topp-Walker. So, obviously, ultimately, it's got to be Andy Topp-Walkies, isn't it?
Very good. Wookie!
Yeah, that's
There it
I
is.
do. I love that. Yeah.
We like
We're
that one.
probably the only ones on the radio, Nicky, that actually know Barbara Woodhouse that started that off. So
Yeah. That's
Well,
true, actually. We're
you're
old
actually in
enough
good
to know
company
about
here,
her.
because both Andy and I both know who Barbara Woodhouse was, and
right.
we liked
She
her,
was
but
quite cruel. No, she was cruel.
she was. What was all that about? Oh, my
Well,
goodness
she used to
me.
beat them. That's why they did what they were told. She used to beat them, I think.
Yeah, I think you're right, actually. Yes. Strange lady she was.
Not nowadays. They just give them treats and then they do whatever you want anyway.
Yeah, but you end up with fat and overweight dogs then, don't you? Now, I believe that you've got a few of the cast members from Quadrophenia, and you renamed them as well. So, come on, give us a few of them then, if you can.
All right then. Well, in the next book, which will be Quadrophenia, we've actually got Ray Winsbone, the rocker dog, yeah, and then we've got Phil Spaniels and Leslie Dash. She's a dash hound.
Oh, my goodness.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How did she
we've
take
got-
to that? How did she take to that?
Do you know what?
She liked it.
She really loves it. I mean, I've seen her
Yeah.
quite a few times this year, and the last time I seen her was in Runcorn a few weeks ago. It was a brilliant event on with Rob Wright had organised it, and we were in the green room, and she was like, Tina, I want one of your paintings on my wall. And she's absolutely lovely. So yeah, luckily
she likes being a dash hound.
Yeah, she does.
Oh, that is
Yeah.
great. And any more?
Oh God, there's hundreds of them.
Oh
in there.
God,
Yeah.
there's loads, but I mean,
Well, this one we've actually got the next story. Obviously, it's the mod dogs and the rocker dogs. So we've got Ozzy Osbourne in this one. Yeah,
I bet you
we
sit up all
actually
night.
had Trevor Laird came to Black Barn Studios.
Yeah.
When was it, Nicky? Was it in September? I've lost track of time.
I think it was, I think in
Yeah.
August, September.
Wow.
Yeah, so he come and narrated the next story.
Yes.
And, oh, what a day that was. We had so much fun narrating that. That was brilliant.
Oh,
And there's
brilliant.
all sorts of characters in that. It's all the 60s characters
Yes.
that are in that book. We've got Michael K9 and we've got some 60s greats in there. I don't want to give too much away.
No, of
but,
course, no, don't. No
yeah,
spoilers.
poor Trevor.
In the first book, don't forget you've got Roger Dog Treats.
Yeah.
You've got all the wolf. You see, you've got the wolf. You've got
Yeah,
the wolf
the
in
actual
that.
wolf.
So
Yes.
Yeah.
yeah,
And obviously we
you've
got
Roger-
Steve Merrimutt out of the Cool Faces.
Yeah, Steve Merrimutt.
Oh, my
Molly
goodness.
absolutely loves. Yeah.
Oh, that is fantastic. I bet you two sit up all
Itchy
night, don't you?
Flea Park.
Oh,
Yeah,
my
Itchy
goodness.
Flea
Hey,
Park
come
they
on.
sing, yeah. And they actually perform at the Bar Key Club. It's not the Marquee Club,
Yeah.
it's the Bar Key
The
Club.
Barkey.
Oh, my
Yeah.
goodness me. That is fantastic.
Really had fun with it.
It just sounds like you're having so much fun. Now, these books, now I've read somewhere, they're actually for children, but they are for children aged between 3 and, was it 83 or something?
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah, it was.
Free, whatever you want, really.
Yeah.
Yeah, I wrote them. I wrote them for adults, but they are children's books, if you see what I mean.
Yes.
So what's happening now is the children that are getting them, that initially it was like Jam fans and Who fans that were buying them, that were, through the Kickstarter campaign that we did, which was brilliant. And then now they're being passed on to the kids and the grandkids, and I'm starting to get fan mail from children.
Oh, that is absolutely brilliant.
Yeah, there's my friend Johnny Bradley. His kids are amazing, Mackenzie and Brooklyn, and they came to the Modfather event that we had.
Yeah.
We did a book launch there at the Modfather.
Okay.
And they turned up in Camden, and they turned up and they'd actually done a painting of, a picture of me as a dog, which taught me a lesson.
Well, if you dish it out, you're going to get it back, Tina.
Exactly.
Then I've got kids like sending me poems and sending me illustrated stories, and I just think, oh my God, if it gets them off the iPads and off playing, Fortnite or whatever, and be coming up with creative stuff, then that's brilliant. So it's lovely that kids are. The kids won't get all the jokes, like the Barkey Club and all the names, but hopefully they'll get the enjoyment of the adults reading it to them and killing themselves laughing.
Absolutely. And obviously, and then it's down to interpretation anyway when it comes to a book, especially when an adult's reading to a child. I remember the times when I was reading to my daughter, and my daughter then took over the reading. She got that good with reading. So, it's lovely. Books are brilliant in any aspect. I'm going to hand you back over to Mr. Walkies there. I'm sure he's got a couple of questions.
Walkies.
Do you know you're going to have to change your name now, that?
Going to, because I'm sitting.
Very good.
Boom, boom.
I'm pleased you pronounced that perfectly there.
Absolutely. Had to be careful there.
He was a fox, boom, boom.
Over to you, Andy.
Okay, so sticking along with the book, being Stinger, where did you get the idea of actually writing a book?
Right, well, I'm obviously mod, and I go round a lot of schools and nurseries teaching sort of creative writing and how to be an illustrator, and I always tell children, write and illustrate whatever you're passionate about. And I thought, actually, I haven't done that myself. So, and I'd get kids saying to me, well, what is a mod then? What's that? So I thought, well, the easiest way is to actually, put it in a book and put everything I love in the book. So I started off with the Stinger character and then built the story around that, really. But yeah, it's everything I love about the 60s. So he's got his little GS scooter friend Jess, and they live on the pier at the end of the sea, and they actually live. The Helter Skelter is Jesse's shed, so every night they sort of drive up the Helter Skelter, and he puts Jess to bed in the top of the.
And his little mate that lives in there is he's from Tom. He's like the Elton John character from Tommy.
Yeah, he fixes the pinball machines. He's the pinball wizard.
He's the pinball wizard. So
indeed.
It's all relevant, but it's nice because a lot of kids have said, a lot of people that I've spoken to as well, they're like, it's just such a lovely little story, and they love it. Some of them are just taking that to bed. That's all they want to hear is their little Stinger book, which is brilliant.
That's excellent.
I think what you're doing is literally you're moulding the next generation of mod. through children's books.
Said. He's given us a lovely quote for the back of the hardback, and it's something along the lines of, hang on a second, what's not to like? This will keep mod alive forever. Which oh my God, how lovely is that?
That is so good, brilliant. Isn't it? Brilliant. That's it. From someone that was never in, he always went out, didn't he?
I tell you what, though, Trevor has been amazing because he's kind of like the kingpin to the whole of the cast, isn't he, Nicky? So
definitely.
He can sort of like, he got hold of Phil for us initially, and then I met them all at a doing Warrington and explained the bonkers idea behind it. But they absolutely just loved it and, you know, went with it. And
yeah, they've all gone with it, haven't they?
Yeah, they've been great, haven't they?
I mean, that's absolutely fantastic. I mean, it's a very easy concept. So, you know, you must have sat there one day, Tina, and just literally went, ping, have an idea. How did that idea really sort of like start then? I mean, dogs and bees
listen,
and things.
You don't know Tina, she's bonkers. This is really not difficult for her to have in her head. Seriously. If you had an hour out with her somewhere, you would be quite as mad as her, which is probably why we get on so well.
That is brilliant. There you go. That's answered it in one sort of pivotal answer, really. It's there, isn't it?
So whilst we're there then, Nicky, can I ask, how did you meet Tina?
I met Tina at the Jam exhibition I was putting on at Liverpool, actually, in 2016. You came, didn't you, to have a little mooch around the exhibition there at the Cunard.
I came to meet you, Nicky.
Did you?
Meet you, yeah.
Yeah, you came to meet me, that's right.
I was really in awe of her to begin with, and that went out the window after a few weeks.
If you just joined in, it's the Nicky and Tina show here live on Target Radio, where they're reminiscing on how they first met.
We had a whole day.
Oh, that
we
is
had a
fantastic.
whole day at the BBC, didn't we, Nicky?
Oh,
every time somebody asked us the question, we had a different answer for it.
Oh no, we were just making it. We were making up a different story on every one.
Oh, that is fantastic. And I mean, in these interviews you're doing, obviously we hear these interviews a lot where, you know, you get sort of 5 minutes with one radio station and on to the next, on to the next, on to the next and stuff like that. It must get really stale after about 10 or 15 interviews where,
I've got to say, I've done quite a few of those sort of regional things, but the one me and Tina did back in the summer was probably one of the funniest couple of days we've had, actually, because like I say, we just made up stories as we went along, and it just got more and more ridiculous.
Oh, that is
speak by the end of it, because we were
and
like
everyone
howling.
wanted to come up with howling. Oh my god! So everyone wanted to come up with dog names, and you know, it was ridiculous in the end.
Oh my goodness me!
So now, if I haven't done you as a dog and you're in Quadrophenia, then you know So I get people coming up to me now, going, "Well, where's my dog character?" And if I haven't done them yet, I'm in trouble. So.
Obviously, we both know Gary Shale very, very well, don't we, Andy?
We do,
So have you got a name for Gary Shale's character, which was Spider?
Don't, because Gary's one of the dogs that I haven't yet done. I've got the idea. Yeah, I know, and he's going to kill me because he's so lovely. And
he is a lovely fella.
I accidentally, inadvertently kidnapped him in summer. Really,
that's where he's been.
I did. I thought I was staying in the same hotel as all the cast, and we were at a party in the park.
Yeah.
It was near in the Midlands somewhere. It's like a VW rally, and the quad cast were all there.
Yeah.
And as we was leaving on the Sunday, as I was coming out, Gary was leaving, and I said, I'll take you to the hotel. And he jumps in my Beetle car.
Yes.
And I took him off, and we got to my hotel, and it wasn't their hotel. And he ended up saying, do you know what, this is a lovely hotel, I'll stay here instead. So we were like the only ones in the bar, but we weren't drinking. We ended up having the best night because I got so much information off him, and it was just brilliant. So yeah, he wants to do one of the next stories, and apparently Toya's interested in doing one of them in narrating.
Oh,
as well.
you just said a magic word, because she was and still is. I love Toya. I mean, I love Toya, what she does.
She was actually performing at that party in the park. So I was there with my husband and my son, and that was like my son's first ever festival. And he was just stood mesmerised by Toya, and she was boinging all over the stage. She had so much energy, and I just remember thinking, Oh my God, I love her so much.
Yeah.
It was the first time I'd actually seen her perform live.
And you know, I never
yeah,
have, and I'd love to go and watch her perform live. And I think, you know, I've got to put that on my sort of bucket list, as they call them, like, you know.
Yeah.
Honestly.
That
She's
and
got so
The
much
Cure are the
energy.
two bands I would love to go and see, and obviously completely out of my comfort zone on both of those, really, because, you know, Toyah is sort of more of a punk rock style new wave, where The Cure started off as a new wave and went very gothic. I mean, I'm neither of those things, but, you know, music does define us, I suppose, you know, and obviously I'm going to quote something from, well, not quote, but I'm going to sort of paraphrase what Paul Weller said many, many years ago about clothes and fashion and music. You're all sort of like, you know, put into sorts of avenues and, you know, targeted around the area. And I just, you know, I don't know how I got onto this really, but I just love what he done with music and fashion. He just sort of like threw it up in the air, kicked two kinds out of it, and redeveloped everything, didn't he, Andy? Really, be fair, with the Jam and everything. So I'm going to come to you now, Nicky, because obviously it's a rare opportunity to get your good self here, and obviously you're sitting there with your feet up with a cup of coffee. So how did you get involved with Paul's band? I know you were sort of part of the fan club, wasn't you, back in the day?
Yeah, I kind of started up the fan club back in 76, 77, and I started getting popular, and so just sort of started the fan club up because we used to have like sack loads of posts turn up at our address in Balmoral Drive, you know.
Yeah.
And then they said, "Oh, we'll set up a fan club then, if you like, and we'll pay you $5 a week." And
wow, that was quite a lot of money back then, though. That was a lot of money back then.
£5 a week, yeah. I suppose it wasn't too bad.
Yeah, that's it. I mean, she's still doing it now, and she's only on £7 an hour, so you know it's not great, really, you know. But
no, I can't believe hilarious.
Indeed.
Yeah, and then you know, obviously later on, once the Jam split, I was like, what was I, 20 when they split. So I went to work at Solid Bomb Studios with my brother when I was about 21.
Okay.
And so I was on the road and working with my dad and my brother for 22, 23 years, something like that.
Wow, indeed.
Yeah.
I remember interviewing Rick Buckler back in the day, this is a few years ago now, at a different radio station, which I know you know of, near Woking, where I used to be one of the DJs there. And when I first met him, I said, I've got to ask you that question, and I do apologise, and, you know, what was it like when you found out that the Jam were no more? And he says, well, the first thing he said, I'll have to go down to a job centre now and find a job. You know, it sort of brought it down to earth, and you think to yourself, you know, pop stars and, you know, these mega rich people out there. I'm not saying, you know, for a minute anyone's mega rich, but you have this sort of aura about pop stars that you look up to them and you see them on top of the pops, and you know, all the other ones that you used to see on TV, you know, Tube, the old grey whistle test and things like that, and you think, well, they've made it, you know, they're at the top, they'll never need to do another job again. How wrong are we, you know? I mean, obviously, but it brought it down to earth, and I thought, do you know, you're just regular people, regular guys, and, you know, okay, well, you know, I wasn't happy and I needed to get a job. You know,
exactly, yeah.
And I thought, how honest and down to earth was the reply? I didn't expect that.
Bruce has done all right. He's got from the Jam and he's out playing every night of the week at the moment.
I know, he doesn't stop.
I think it's a shame that Rick didn't stay in that band really with them. I think it's silly that they had their differences.
Yeah,
but,
indeed.
Yeah, you know, because they could have both been doing From the Jam, really.
Absolutely. I've been to see From the Jam a few times. Have you seen them, Andy?
I have, yeah.
And they are absolutely brilliant.
Yeah,
I mean,
good.
Russell does a very good, you know, I'm not saying a Paul Weller, because he's not doing a Paul Weller.
You know, he takes it off good, doesn't he?
He has, you know, He really sort of
if
pours his
heart. If you've never
heart.
seen the Jam or you want to see the Jam, then it's the closest thing you're ever going to get, isn't it?
Absolutely, yeah.
Absolutely.
I mean, his bass playing, I was always on that side when I wanted to watch him play, and I think I might change his size now, so I think I've gone permanently deaf in one ear now because his bass is so loud. It's unbelievable, but they are a fantastic, smashing band, you know, they are very, very nice, and, you know, they've got time for the fans.
Have you seen the Small Fakers?
Yeah, I've seen the Small Fakers a couple of times, yeah, indeed.
I love them.
They are brilliant.
Brilliant. I saw them for the first time about, I don't know, a month ago or something in Woking, and I thought they were brilliant.
Yeah, well, that was
the little guy. That
was the Fiery
he's
Bird.
really mastered Stevie Marriott, isn't he?
Yes, yeah, Matt Bond is brilliant. They are actually
Amazing.
promoted by the Small Faces fan club because they are the #1 tribute band.
They are that good, aren't they?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, they are. They're brilliant, actually.
Fantastic. So what's next then? Obviously, back to Tina then. Obviously, we just touched on, you've got another book or two on the pipeline, and obviously we've got some narrators coming in and things like that. So talk us through the next sort of book yourself, Tina, if you can, please.
Right. Well, the dream is that there's going to be a whole series of books, of stories that spin off based from the characters within the film, and then what they've done afterwards as well. Like, we've got one of the stories is about Trevor and Mark Wingate's dog characters going off the rails as naughty young pups, and then when they grow up they have to make sort of life decisions.
That's a bit rough, isn't it?
Mark Wingate's dog character decides to become a police dog. So we've got his little DM boots marching along the pavement.
Hang on, that's not too far away from the truth, though, was it? Because he'd done 20-odd years in the bill. Come on.
Yeah,
Sergeant
exactly.
Carver, weren't it? Sergeant Carver.
Well, I like having fun with that and sort of including what we know has happened to the actual, real-life actors in real life.
Yeah.
I had a bit of fun with that with the Sting character, obviously.
Yeah.
In the Stinger book, there's one of the illustrations where Stinger's deciding if he too should be in a band. It's much easier than working in his hotel, so grand.
Bellboy!
He stood outside a police station looking up at the police sign, and Sting absolutely
and there's a message in a bottle.
There is, and he's going,
look,
a message
It's there.
in a bottle, and I'm going, Sting, I know, I drawed it. So that was good. Yeah, I drawed it.
He
the book what I drawed.
He drawed it.
I did. So the idea always was that if we could ever get it as an animated TV series,
now that would be fantastic.
That's the absolute dream, but very music led. That's the ambition.
That's on the horizon. Yeah.
Excellent.
I mean, we've had a few meetings, and it's there's people interested, and that's the dream. So if I can get a few of the books published, and obviously we can get a whole sort of a following to those, and make sure it's not just us pair that think it's a good idea.
Well, no, I think that's a very good idea as well. So that could be on like a children's hour or on CITV or whatever.
Exactly.
But obviously, it's a bit like just going into Grange Hill for a second. I love Grange Hill when it first started back in 78, 79 when it was, and obviously I was at the age where I was going to school myself, so I had a relation with it. But as I left school in 80 something or other, I'm not going to give my age away here. I left school in somewhere in the 80s. I wasn't kicked out, Andy. I did leave. My head held high.
Voluntarily, yeah.
Yeah. They did have an after school party when I did leave. Anyway, I still carried on watching Grange Hill way into my early 20s, maybe even to my late 20s when it was still on. And Stinger, I think, could go down that path where, like Danger Mouse, it's still, even Danger Mouse today, I still will sort of like look into that because it's so fantastic. Those sorts of cartoony, that's what I'm trying to say.
Humour Danger Mouse has. It's very, it is iconic British humour, and it still works whatever age you are.
Absolutely. So I think Stinger could work.
Ben and Holly's like that, isn't it?
I love
Ben and Holly's hilarious.
Yeah,
I mean, that's brilliant, that programme. I watched that with the twins, but I mean, me and Ross used to crack up watching that.
Because that's the idea that
so,
you watch.
So not for kids, was it?
Yeah, I mean, Nanny Plum is so sarcastic and brilliant. It's genius.
I love Nanny Plum. It actually reminds me of my wife.
She's the best. So we want that kind of relationship where the whole family comes running in at the sound of the music, and they sit and watch a programme together. Can you imagine that? Really proper old-fashioned sitting round as a family.
Well, thank you very much indeed for downloading this podcast. Now, it's a podcast of two halves this week because we were talking to Tina Freeman, a brilliant author and a mod artist, and of course her counterpart, which is Nicky Weller, and that is the sister of one Mr. Paul Weller. And we had a marvellous conversation about pretty much everything and anything, and we put lots of things to bed. We also had a TV themes quiz, which got completely out of control. So the reason why I'm intervening here is that we're going to split this podcast into two parts because there was so much in the podcast. I thought, well,
let's make it into 2 podcasts, which is more manageable. So I hope you don't mind. So that is the end of part 1. Part 2 will be with us next week. Thanks ever so much indeed for choosing Target Radio. And don't forget, subscribe on iTunes and tell someone about Target Radio. We're live every single Monday from 7 with Andy Topp-Walker and my good self Cookie. And we're online, and you'll find us in most online places. Just type in targetradio.co.uk. Thanks very much, and have yourself an enjoyable Christmas.
With me now, I've got Andy Topp-Walker, who's helping with the March of the Mods, which is Saturday the 21st of March, 2020, so that's next year. Kick-starting off at 1 o'clock all the way through till 1 a.m. Andy, 12 hours, mate. That's a long time.
12 hours of wonderful music.
It's going to be wonderful music. So who's appearing on March of the Mods 2020 at the Holroyd Arms? That's in Guildford.
It's in Guildford, and I'm pleased to announce that from the Chords UK, we actually have Chris Pope.
Wow.
And he's going to be doing an acoustic set for us.
Okay, that sounds good.
We also have The Aim, The Spirals, The Sonics.
Who else we got?
Then we've got The Modern Apes. And then we're followed by, it's great to announce that the Trojan Beats are actually going to be there as well. We also have the 48Ks.
Now that is a great band.
Absolutely. So looking forward to hearing them.
Fantastic.
Them. A new up-and-coming young band called the Lightscopes.
And anything else?
And then we're having a bit of a Q&A session going
Question
on.
and answers, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah. With Modzines.
Ah, now, is that something to do with one Eddie Pillar?
I believe it is.
Wow. Now, we're going to be asking questions to Eddie?
No, I believe he's going to be asking the questions to some very special guests.
Oh, the great Eddie Pillar live on the stage area of March of the Mods 2020, and that's on the 21st of March at the Holroyd Arms. Target Radio, we're going to be recording the whole event live. Brilliant. And how do we get tickets, please?
You can, if you go onto Mods and More, that we've got an advert going up there. Just click on the link and that takes you directly into the tickets.
Brilliant.
You can also do the same obviously here on Target Radio. Click onto the link, take you directly into the tickets, and then also on most of the great Facebook pages that are out there that have actually offered to promote this great cause.
That is fantastic, brilliant stuff. And how much does the tickets cost?
The tickets are £10 in advance. And if you're lucky enough to turn up on the day and there are still availability, it's £15 on the door.
Brilliant. Excellent. Right, okay, so that's March of the Mods, Saturday the 21st of March 2020. Kick starts at 1 p.m. Don't be late.
Don't be late.
Okay, and you're going to look great. Bring a change of clothes because we're going to get hot and sweaty in there. Going right the way through till 1 o'clock in the morning. Do you think you can do 12 hours? Just before we do that, Nicky Weller has been in touch and she's gracefully given us all the information, which I will copy and paste and put onto Target Radio live page for presenters and listeners. If you fancy Stinger the Book or Growing Up with Punk, if you email her quickly, she'll get them out shipped for you. First class postage and packaging before Christmas. So I'll put all those details up. Right, okay, on to the mission then for you. Oh, she just sent me a picture as well. Ah, thank you. Oh, it's her feet. Ugh. No, I'm joking. Right, I'd just like to say now, thank you very much indeed to Tina Freeman. Woo! And to the lovely Nicky Weller as well. Woo! Oh, you've been absolutely stars this evening. Thank you very much indeed for joining our little old radio station here in the deepest, darkest parts of Surrey. We've really enjoyed hosting them this evening, haven't we?
We have, yes.
Indeed. But all we've got left to do then is to play Goodbye Victory Road, and I'm going to say goodnight. And would you like to say goodnight, Andy?
Good night, Andy.